Welcome to this interview of Dr. Gerard Tellis, Professor of Marketing, Neely Chair of American Enterprise, and Director of the Center for Global Innovation at the USC Marshall School of Business. A new PricewaterhouseCoopers study, American in Perspectives, 2018 and beyond, is highlighting innovation as one of the top challenges facing American companies in this century. Unlike many other disciplines that companies rely on for success, innovation is both a specific function in R&D and also every employee's responsibility. Dr. Tellis has studied innovation as both a process and an outcome in terms of successful new products and services, with a special focus on establishing new measurements of successful innovation. Dr. Tellis, let's start with a little background on previous research and what you've learned about innovation over the years. How did innovation research become a focus for you, and what initially got you interested in the field as a research opportunity?
When I first started my career in research, I was looking at advertising and its effectiveness. And what I found was that the effects of advertising are quite fragile and difficult to observe. And then I looked at what else was driving sales and market share, and I found that price and promotions had these huge impacts on sales and market share. But they also had a bad impact on the bottom line, on profits. And then I looked at new products, and the picture changed completely, because new products and innovation had these huge impacts. You found great companies failing because they were not innovative, and you found small startups growing to be dominant companies because they were innovative. So you had these huge impacts on the market and on companies, as well as tremendous impacts on profits and market capitalization. And that's what really got me hooked on focusing on innovation.
Can you describe in general terms how the research on innovation has evolved over the years, for example, prior to your involvement in it?
There have been different perspectives, and innovation actually is an interesting area in business, because no particular department of business or no particular field in business is called innovation or focuses on innovation. But all the traditional departments, marketing, finance, operations, they all look at innovation from a different angle. And so what's characteristic of a field is that it's viewed through different lenses. And one of the challenges is to put all these different perspectives together and get a holistic view of innovation.
How does innovation fit within the broader context of what makes for a successful company?
Well, today the world, and especially the business world, is changing very rapidly. I mean, one thing you notice is new products are coming on the scene rapidly. They are growing, they're maturing, and they're dying. So the life cycle of products is getting shorter and shorter. That's one phenomenon. And another phenomenon, you find that new markets are coming online. You have the whole phenomenon of China, then a little after that of India, there's South America, there's Russia, there's Eastern Europe. With all of these markets opening, there's tremendous competition. So we have fast-changing world, we have competition from different countries and different angles. And so in this environment, innovation is critical for a firm to survive.
So would you say that innovation is important to any company in any sector these days?
Yes, I cannot think of a sector where innovation these days is not important. And perhaps the only sectors which survive without innovating are monopolies and maybe our governments.
When you talk about innovation, what do you consider the business activities that are key to the innovation process?
Well, there is what we call the idea generation. So you just have to come up with new concepts and new ideas. Then the next phase is the development of those ideas. Then there's the development of a prototype, or the design of the prototype. There's commercialization. And a lot of people think that the story ends with commercialization, but no, you have to get the innovation accepted.
You know, if you think about that from an end-to-end process, from idea generation to directly to market, where do you see the most change happening in innovation processes or innovation business activities? Is it the idea generation side, the distribution side? Is it the whole end-to-end process?
I think the two biggest challenges are happening in the commercialization of innovations. there are a lot of companies that have developed a number of innovations, but they have not commercialized them. And that goes back to the classic examples of Xerox having most of the innovations of today's personal computer age and not having commercialized them. But even today, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, so on, have got hundreds of thousands of patents, and they can barely cope to document all of that, leave alone to innovate all the products that can utilize those patents. So one of the big issues today is the commercialization of innovations. And the other big issue is the diffusion of innovations, because there are so many regions of the world, diverse regions, and they all have economies at different stages. So how do we manage the diffusion of innovations across these numerous countries with differing cultures?
So in a sense, you're saying there's no end of ideas. Companies are generating more ideas than ever on the idea side. The biggest challenge is figuring out which ideas to try to commercialize. Correct. And then be successful with the commercialization itself.
That's right. So actually, it's not only the big companies who are developing a lot of ideas, but also a large number of little companies in various clusters, depending on the industry, which are developing innovations. So you have hundreds of little companies developing innovations. And now in the internet age, you have so many things can be commercialized on the web. You have individuals developing things without even needing a garage or a lab and putting them on the web. So the challenge for companies is, what do I do with these numerous small startups? Do I just ignore them and hope they'll go back into oblivion? Or do I challenge them, or do I buy them up? So it's a very dynamic environment, and it's also a very exciting environment.
So would you predict a robust consulting market to help companies learn the skill sets of becoming an innovative culture?
Oh yeah, companies are so involved, corporations are so involved in battling the crises of the day in every market, and sometimes so close to their current customers that they may not see what is emerging in the horizon, which might be 5 years away, until it's too late to get into that market.
Based on what you said today, it seems that many ideas are available for commercialization. We don't know if they'll be successful or not.
That's right.
Is there a research opportunity to understand better ways of filtering ideas so you can target the best ones that have the most likely success?
I guess that would be the million-dollar question. Can I possibly go only after the best ideas? And there are tools and there are strategies to do that, but I think in the final analysis, a company has not to be risk-averse. So you have to take the risk. I worked for Johnson & Johnson, I remember, and one time my boss told me when we were introducing a new product, and I was the product manager in charge of the national launch of a new product. I was nervous about failure, and he told me, in Johnson & Johnson, you don't have to succeed every time. You can have a few failures as long as you succeed once and 3 or 4 times. So you have to be willing to take a risk. And there was another CEO who said, in our business, we have to be willing to gamble $1 billion on a new product, fail, and then be willing to start all over again on another gamble. So there are means of sifting good from bad innovations, but in the final analysis, you have to be willing to take the risks and either develop or launch and see how the market accepts your innovation.